Hey, good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio. Like the new digs, gearing up for the midterm elections here at News 5, which are now just 16 days away. Early voting, though, already well underway at your local Board of Elections office and through this, your absentee ballot. Cuyahoga County has been since the beginning a leader in early voting, and as of Friday morning, the board is at 99.4% of the total number of requests for ballots that they had 4 years ago. While Democrats may have held the rallies to kick off the start of early voting, they are only at 79% of their 2014 numbers, while Republicans have already surpassed theirs. The biggest uptick, though, lies with the independents. They make up 60% of county voters, and their requests are already up 50% over 4 years ago.
Independents really are the ones that swung slightly for Trump in 2016. In this election, it really depends on what's happening with the statewide being so close between Cordray and DeWine. I think that explains part of the uptick. Another part of it is the particular congressional race that they're in, and in Cuyahoga County, we have 3-4 different congressional districts represented. Any one of those could be factors that is causing that uptick in the independents.
All right, so is that thing good for Republicans, Democrats? Right now, every political pundit is trying to figure that out in a year that, unlike past midterms, is full of mixed messages. Washington may be referred to by some as a swamp, but it is likely the only swamp with waves that are most evident in midterm elections. In 2006, the water was deep blue as Democrats took back control of the House and Senate. In 2010 and 14, the wave was red as the House went Republican with the Senate to follow. It's a phenomenon that played out as well here in Ohio, when in 2006, Democrats won control of the governor's seat and all but one of the row offices, only to see the pendulum swing back to the Republicans 4 years later in 2010. Now in 2018, the waves are mixed, with signs pointing to the House going Democrat and the Senate staying Republican. And as a sign of Ohio's bellwether status, it is a split scene here. Consider this. Add up the averages in the latest Baldwin-Wallace poll of those row offices we just talked about, and you've got only a half point separating them. That's one of the reasons Ohio's races are being so closely watched. We are reflective of the nation.
We are 8 urban areas, each with their own suburban areas. We are rural. 80 of our 88 counties are classified as rural. We tend to be more of a mix, and as a result, we represent the states around the region and even other states in other parts of the country.
Well, a man who was swept out of the U.S. Senate in the blue wave of 2006 and swept back into office in the red wave of 2010 is current Attorney General Mike DeWine, who was running as a Republican candidate for governor against the man he defeated in that 2010 race, Richard Cordray. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking with both candidates about a number of issues. This morning, though, we hear from Mike DeWine on the issue of health care. It is the issue cited in a recent poll of Ohio voters as their top concern in the race, and DeWine's history on the subject has become an issue. When Mike DeWine took office as Attorney General in 2011, one of his first actions was to file a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act.
I didn't like Obamacare because I didn't like the mandate. I did not like the fact that it was a tax. I did not like the fact that people could not choose their doctors as freely as they could before. Those were my concerns with it. But I have consistently said that there's a couple parts of it that really are good.
Protections for people with pre-existing conditions first among them, and he recognizes the Medicaid expansion, which has added 700,000 people to the insurance rolls in Ohio, and seen the Cleveland Clinic, for example, expand by roughly 10,000 jobs since 2012, as a bell the state easily can't unring. Can you state unequivocally that you would work to maintain what has been the Medicaid expansion?
We will keep Medicaid expansion. We want to make it sustainable in case, for example, the federal government decides instead of paying 90+%, that they're going to drop that down to a much lower figure. We want to do everything that we can to prepare for that day if that day ever comes.
He resents attacks that because he challenged the legality of parts of the ACA, he'd be against protecting people with pre-existing conditions. 7
different times I voted when I was in the United States Congress in favor of covering pre-existing illness. My commitment to the people of the state of Ohio is if at any time in the future when I'm governor something happens so that pre-existing illnesses are not going to be covered, I will intervene. I will do what we have to do in Ohio to make sure that they're not only that you can get insurance, but that you can get insurance at a decent cost.
And next week, we'll hear from Democrat Richard Cordray. With Democracy 2018, I'm Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.